So boom, check this out. Hey, it amazes me at the audacity of some of these individuals who have the nerve to question why I started the Pain and the Purpose podcast without even having a conversation with me or trying to understand the significance of this podcast. This podcast is not just for me, it's for anybody that watch it that may be experiencing a trial or tribulation, an adversity, a trauma, or just some pain and they don't know what to do with it. Yes, I talk a lot about losing Nana in 2023. That was something that devastated me and rocked me to my core. But this Pain and the Purpose podcast is much bigger than just grief. Grief is a main component of the podcast because that is a heavy subject and most of us deal with it at some point in our lives. But 2013, I leave my 2014, I leave my family and create a whole bunch of chaos inside my inner family, which is me, my kid's mother, and my kids, and that is something that I'm still trying to repair in 2024. In the midst of that, I got kids going to jail. I got kids just wilding out. 2017, I get flipped over in my truck with 2 grandbabies in the car. And that was an emotionally draining experience. And at the time, I wasn't able to talk about it because we're taught as men not to express our emotions. So I bottled that up. Then 2019, 2 weeks before my wedding, I have another car accident and having to watch my wife Tammy come to the accident scene, and the emotion that was in her face and the tremble in her voice did something to me internally that, once again, I was not allowed to process. And so I'm just trying to figure out how are men supposed to process their emotions if they're not allowed to talk about it. So I figured that by me creating this podcast, I can inspire other men not to talk about their pain or their problems on camera, but just to get around each other and build their own little community of people that they know, love, and trust, so they can start getting this stuff out. 2019, my gallbladder ruptured. I literally had a doctor look me in my face and tell me that had I not came to the doctor within 48 hours, I would have been dead. That does something to you internally. 2022, my mom get really, really sick, and I do my best to make her comfortable because her health was declining, and it just rocked me because at the time we didn't have the best relationship. We had a good relationship, but just not the best. Then 2023, my son go back to jail for doing something that I don't condone or agree with, but he only 23. He got to have room to grow, and he got to have the same grace to grow that I had when I was 23, and I understand that, but it still hurt. April 2023, my daughter get murdered by somebody that's twice her age, and it still don't make sense, so I'm processing that. But in the midst of all this, I still have to carry on day-to-day activities in day-to-day life, and I'm losing people that I thought I could love and trust, but they able to just walk away from me with no conversation, and so that forced me to do a deep self-reflection and self-awareness to make sure that I wasn't being a bad friend or a bad guy, and just realizing that sometimes situations just dissolve with no real resolution, and I got to be okay with that. But in the midst of all this, I'm still trying to process all these emotions, and I know I'm not the only one. So I figured if I create the Pain and the Purpose podcast and start talking about all this stuff that's going on in my life, I can help somebody, I can inspire somebody else to at least talk to somebody that they know, love, and trust, so they can start getting this stuff off their chest and start processing and dealing with it and healing from it. Look, everything I've been through in my life, whether I had control of it or not, I had to be forced to do some self-reflection increase my self-awareness, regulate my emotions. I tried my best to stay optimistic and maintain my positive thinking. I try to do compassion for others and for myself. I'm an empathetic person. Like, even in the midst of this, I don't mind helping people when I can and how I can. Then 2024, I lose my mom 5 days before her birthday. And the very same people that are asking why I started the Pain and the Purpose podcast, none of them are calling asking me, just how you doing mentally today? Now, take it for granted. I got a great source of an inner circle, and we stay connected. And whether I'm going through something or they're going through something, we stay connected, and we're going to get each other through our trials and tribulations. So that's not the purpose of this rant. This rant is to ensure that people understand that life be life and for everybody. So when you see me outside smiling and grinning, just understand that it took a lot out of me for me to come outside and even be around other individuals, because it's hard to trust people right now because you just don't know who is with who or what is with what. But I also understand that it's nobody's fault. It's life just be life, and I'm going to get through it. I'm going to deal with it. I'm going to increase my resilience. I'm going to increase my self-awareness. I'm going to increase my self-compassion and my ability to have compassion for others. I'm going to keep sharing my story with the hopes that I'm inspiring someone else to share their story and helping somebody else heal. Look, what many of the people don't know is 31 years ago, I tried to take my own life, right? Because I didn't have the necessary tools and skills that I have now to deal with life challenges. And I personally understand that when someone takes their own life or attempts to take their own life, they really didn't want to take their own life. And in most cases, they were just in extreme pain, and they was looking for a solution to stop the pain or solve their problem, and they couldn't find it, and they thought that that was the way to do it, and it just simply was not. Like, it is other avenues out there. So yes, I talk about grief. Yes, I talk about suicide prevention. Yes, I could talk about it because I lived it. And if you haven't lived this, you have no right to judge or criticize or question a person that's trying to help somebody else not take their own life, or help somebody experiences an extreme amount of grief. Do you know the pain that is caused when you lose a child to somebody else's gun violence, and you don't understand why? Or even if you understood why, like, that's your child. Like, Nana was only 21. She didn't deserve it. And I wish people would stop trying to question why I do what I do before they ask me if I'm okay. With that being said, have a blessed and stress-free day, because you definitely deserve it. Instead of criticizing people, check on them. I love y'all. Peace.